Welcome to Stay Paid, the podcast where we turn lessons from top performers and entrepreneurs into real-world strategies you can use to close more deals and grow your business, but only if you take action today. My name is Joshua Stike, Chief Marketing Officer here at Reminder Media, joined by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media, and our co-host, joining us as always, Cody Smith and Stephen Acree of the Acree Brothers Realty Team. And our special guest today is Jonas Roeser. Jonas is an award-winning international marketer and the current CEO and CMO of Agent Review, a digital platform connecting consumers with trusted insurance and financial professionals. Through his leadership in direct marketing and long-term care awareness, Jonas is shaping the industry, the insurance industry, through innovation, advocacy, and bold marketing. Jonas, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Jonas, man, great to have you on. I'm excited to talk about reviews. I see reviews as critical. We got screwed at Reminder Media. We focused all of our attention. This was a mistake. We focused all of our attention on getting Facebook reviews early on and got hundreds and hundreds of them. And then the crypto bots got a hold of us. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was a cyber attack or just the nature. But if you go to our Facebook, Reminder Media, it is just full of these crypto people that have rated us 5 stars saying things about crypto. I've never seen it before. We've tried to get Facebook to take it down. They won't take it down. The only way they told us is basically to mark them as bad or something like that, like individually, and it's still not down. So it's like we put all of our eggs in that basket. We realized that was a huge mistake. Now we've gone to Google and, getting our Google reviews up and all that good stuff. But I'm curious, what got you into reviews for agents? And why do you believe Agent Review is a good business right now to be in? Because it feels like there's so many review sites. So why do you feel like Agent Review, starting this company and doing all that is critical right now?
Well, I mean, to take a quick step back, we actually started 10 years ago and we were in it for about 15 months. And then we took a massive long pause.
That's a pretty long pause, brother.
Yeah. Well, honestly, we came out the gate strong. We were Innovative Product of the Year in the insurance industry.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, we had people signing up, and it just happened to be a critical, horrible time in my life where I hate to bring it up, but I was served divorce papers, and coming from being, fairly successful and with a massive income earlier in the insurance industry to going to startup CEO salary. And, going into what ended up being a trial, we had to put on pause. I couldn't run the company and take care of these financial situations. And then we couldn't raise capital because I actually had a divorce trial. So it just put everything on hold. And curious that you mentioned AI, right? Because it is the main reason that we are back today. My co-founder, we got together and said, what are we doing here? It's been 6-7 years. We're paying to keep this on life support. And he said, what if we rebuild the site with AI? And that's what we did. And we've recently just launched 90 days ago, soft launch, but we're coming on strong. And you know what? Reviews is the future for the salesperson right now, right? If you don't have a number of reviews up, it doesn't matter what kind of traffic, in my opinion, you have going to your site. You need to
just
have
because of credibility. Is that because it's just basically you're non-critical? I'm curious, just for my own interest. It's like, what do you mean build it by AI? Like, what does that actually mean in practicality? Is that the sorting of it? Is that you literally built the site by having AI code it? Like, what does it actually mean?
Well, so we have functions in the site that support aspects in the site. So, for example, there's a sorting functionality. There's a bunch of different features in there that support the consumer writing a better review or using AI to write that. But at the end of the day, with the way that reviews are like fuel for AI, right? AI is built off of tone. It's built off of natural language, right? And it's based off of trust.
That's a great point.
So there's nothing better than a review moving forward. And with a 25% drop off on search on Google in 2026, because people are using platforms like Perplexity or ChatGPT for search, right? Like, I use chat. I think a lot of people do, right? And they may use it to make something more polished and sound better. But I guarantee you 90% of the people on this call that are in sales whether it's insurance, real estate, financial advisor, whatever it is, I doubt they've gone into Chat GPT and said, who's the number one life insurance agent in Seattle, Washington, right? They don't use it as a front end search. And you know what's going to happen? The minute you do that, it's going to spool. It's going to say, it's hard to figure out who the number one person is, or agent is, or salesperson. And then automatically it's going to start showing you, Joe Jones has 5-star ratings and 600 reviews. And the next person, so many ratings, 350 reviews, because what it's doing is looking for performance ratings. It's looking for reviews. It's using that as its fuel, and it's scanning what the public is saying, because you know what? Reviews are the new trust currency right now. You know, back in the day.
We got a great hack. Do you remember the Jason Pantana hack, like what he talked about? And like, he did exactly what you're saying, Jonas, but then he like went through and basically asked ChatGPT how it came up with its answer.
Yeah.
And then essentially like he basically, it was an incredible thought of like, hey, I'm going to search best real estate agents in Lynchburg, Virginia, or best life insurance in Seattle, Washington.
Yep.
And then it comes up with the names. It goes, why did you choose those people?
Yeah.
And then it will tell you why it found them and chose them. And then it's like, you can then even get deeper and go, well, what sites did you use to make your decision? And then boom, that's your action item of going, okay, how do I get on those sites? Like, how do I get in? I think reviews, Google business profile reviews, agent review sites like yours. That is one of the main
I actually had ChatGPT make me a checklist of the 10 things that we needed to do to optimize our site and our Google profile to be recommended by ChatGPT.
Now here's the question, Josh. Have you taken action in on any of those top 10 things?
Nine and a half.
9.5 of them. Yeah. So, okay, Jonas. So then, you know, I think the struggle for most people is they all buy in. Everybody gets it. You got to get reviews. The question is, and this is what you have found, Stephen and Cody, is like, how do you actually get them? Like, how do you get your clients, sphere, people to actually go to agentreview.com and literally put in a review, or go to Google and put in a review? So what's the best solicitation of reviews strategies that you see?
So this is a 2-part question. And again, like, I love you're asking me this because I have the answers, and they're actually pretty simple, right? It just takes doing. So like asking for reviews, right? It's almost like an insurance term, activity of daily living. You got to make it an activity that you do. And the best time to do it, think about the timing that you're doing it. Obviously, the best time to ask a review is after you've had a positive experience with a client, right? So, or in insurance, you know, after the policy is delivered. You don't want to ask for a review if you're selling life insurance and they don't get it due to health or something along those lines, right? They're not going to give you a great review. But that being said, it's timing, and sometimes make it about someone else other than yourself, right? When you say writing this review not only helps me, it helps others realize why they need to have this type of policy to protect their family, or why they need to be working with an agent on agent review or something along these lines. But sometimes it seems self-serving, and honestly, make sure you're using a platform that's frictionless. You know, I don't want to talk about agent review too much, but you brought up Google reviews, right? It's massive, right? Everyone thinks of Google reviews, but it's got friction for sure. You can't leave a review unless you have a Gmail.
Right.
Not everyone uses Gmail. It's a massive friction place. And if I bought a policy that's like, let's say it's long-term care insurance. So you may not know about this, but you've probably only you buy it once, right? Because it ages up. Every day you get older, every day you get unhealthier, costs more money. So when you buy it, you don't ever cancel it. So you never deal with that person again. If I don't have a Gmail, am I going to go open a Gmail account to leave one review for someone that spent an hour with me to buy a policy? Absolutely not. So, for example, it's one of the main things that we did at Agent Review. We gave everyone a personal review link, right? So if they're on their profile, they can click to leave a review. It doesn't matter. You just leave it, submit it. Or the agent's able to, you know, have their link stored, or just go to their profile or the portal, take it, click it, and use it in an email. Say, it's a wonderful meeting with you. I'm happy your policy was delivered Tuesday at 2:00. Would love a review, something like that, right?
So would you say, like, would you say you should target a bunch of different platforms as well? Like, so like we got Facebook, we got Zillow, you know, we're real estate agents, we got Zillow, we got Google reviews, right? Would you say tackle all of those, or would you be more specific to one platform? What's your thoughts on that?
Tackle them all. You know, this is a digital landscape. You need as big of a digital footprint as possible. You know, that's my feeling on it. I mean, I've heard the extent of people like, hey, I don't only asking for reviews, I'm leaving reviews, and when I'm leaving them, I'm saying that I'm Seattle's #1 life insurance agent in the review that I'm leaving for someone else. So it's just this full circle, right? So, because you got to imagine it's crawling, looking for content, so to say, right?
Wait, did I just did you say when you're leaving reviews for others, you are putting keywords about yourself?
I don't do it, but I don't do it.
That's so smart.
It's exactly what I said, right? I'm not selling, but you know, I'm talking to hundreds of agents a day.
Yeah, you go, like, imagine, Steven, you go and review all the restaurants in Lynchburg,
Right.
and you go, you know, Steven with Acre Brothers Realty here. You know, we run the #1 team in Lynchburg, and I love this restaurant.
This to all my clients.
That is so smart, dude.
It's the truth, right? Because again,
because it's keywords, it's the data out there on the web for SEO.
That's right.
Well, yes and no, right? You need to think that way because that's how we were thinking yesterday. But moving forward, you need to think about how are you going to take your own personal keywords, the tone of what the community is saying about you and everything that's positive, from performance ratings to actual reviews, and making sure they're exposed as much as possible. And then exposing what you're trying to brand yourself as, right? You sell,
it's super smart.
You know, figuring how to plug it.
Do you think, I'm curious about this because I was just talking to a gentleman the other day. He's actually on the podcast, and he has like 1,600 reviews. Do you think there's a certain count of reviews that really matters to the consumer? Because like we're the #1 review team here in the area on Google. And I'm just curious, like psychology wise, when people choose you, like if they see 1,600 reviews versus 360, of course there's a difference, but is there a difference between the competition that you need to see for organic lead flow to actually start flowing in?
You know, it's a great question. I don't want to say that I have a definitive answer. I think a lot of it's based on some common sense of, am I looking at one person that's an individual agent and they got 1,000+ reviews? Am I looking at a natural, a nationwide business that does, right?
Sure.
It's all scalable. And at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. You want to have as many reviews as possible, and you want to have as many positive reviews, right? We haven't talked about negative reviews, right? So they're there. They happen to the best of us. And the challenge with that is, how do you handle it? You know, how do you handle managing your reputation? Because reviews is reputation management. Right?
Yes.
Really, it's really what it is, right? It is the digital way that referrals happen today, right? You used to call your neighbor up and say, who did you use this and that? Now when you go in and you search, who's the #1 roof fixer, you know, in Seattle. And I keep referencing kind of back to where I'm based, but that's what you do, right? But now within doing that with reviews, because of how AI works and how it focuses on natural language, tone, and all these things, it's AI's caviar and champagne, man.
So
right?
Let's go a little deeper on this negative reviews thing. Okay. Josh, can you talk about, like, we have a lot of 1-star reviews. So we've been in business for 20 years. We've served over 150,000 small businesses at this point in time. So over the time span and over the amount of clients we've served, we have very little negative reviews. Okay. But because of, just how reviews are and how they live for years and years and years, let's say I don't know what it is. Let's say we have 30 1-star or 40 1-star reviews on Google versus, 600 5-star type idea. Okay. But that still affects because people don't go and read the good reviews. They go and immediately sort to the bad reviews. And there's enough of them on our profile that makes people go, oh, there are negative
doubt
experiences.
enters. Yeah.
How do we respond? Obviously, you're the marketing guy. Like, what's your thought process on how we respond? Because I want to get, Jonas, your take on our.
Well, every single negative review, whether it's a comment or an actual review that comes in, we actually have a chat here internally where we will take a screenshot of it. We'll share it with the team. Customer service team reaches out immediately to the client, tries to resolve it. We are then responding to that review, whether we are trying to reach out to them or if we got a hold of them, via the phone, via our customer service team, and then replying on that actual comment with the resolution. And a lot of times people will take down the negative review after that.
We have had that happen. Yeah.
At the very least, you see that, okay, this company is responding to both the positive and the negative reviews. And on those negative reviews, there is some sort of resolution, not just like what I hate on negative reviews are companies that post, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Please send us an email, at this email address and we'll take care of it." It's like, no, we're proactively reaching out.
You guys are light years ahead, right? What you're doing is exactly what AI is going to be looking for. You're handling everything inside the environment that it's searching to find information, right? So even you're going to have negative reviews or they're not going to be the best. But the point is that you handled them. You've handled it openly. So AI is actually able to see how it's handled or in progress, right? As long as it knows that something's going on and it's not unanswered, it's going to work in your favor.
Should you apologize in your responses or give really a lot of detail in your, this is always a hard one for me because like we had one come in last night. That was a negative one.
Okay.
And it wasn't our fault. But no,
I'm just kidding.
But it is your fault because the customer's always right. So perception's reality. So that client's perception. So it is our fault. But in the terms of like a really common one we get all the time is can't reach you guys, poor response. And then you go and check the record and we called you literally. Yes, we called you freaking 8 times, left voicemails, sent text. And it just so happens that you gave us another number on your file and an email that I guess you're not checking. Like, and it's so, and we're dealing with obviously tens of thousands of clients. So it's imagine an arena of people. I'm venting here. Everybody can say, stop making excuses, Luke. But it's like, imagine dealing with an arena of 35,000 people and you're getting their contact records as they come in. And then the person in row 3 is complaining. So you're reaching out to that contact record that they gave you, but now they're upset because you didn't get them because everybody wants to be treated individualized. So what my question is like, do you strategically respond with that info for the other readers or no? Like,
my personal feeling is yes, right? And we're living in this environment that's still growing at a, breakneck speed, right? AI, right? Like it's just going. So, but everything that I know, which again, I don't want to say isn't a lot, but it's constantly growing, tells me that yes, you want to respond. Yes, you want to respond quickly. You want to respond in a tone that is, I hear you, I understand, you're our client, we're here to support a resolution. If you're having something that happens where the connection to get to that resolution point isn't happening, for example, wrong number, or whatever, respond with that, but not like, hey, you idiot, you gave me a number that no one picked up on the phone.
I can't call them idiots. No, I'm just kidding.
Literally think about it as nuggets in the sand that AI is going to pick up. I've tried to call you at these times in these time zones to see if you to reach you. I want to get to a place where you value our service and want to move forward, something like that. But show AI and show the world that's reading these reviews like, hey, you're not hiding from it. You're trying to get there.
Exactly.
I
tend to write with that in mind. Like my thought process is exactly that is I'm actually writing, and might sound terrible. I'm writing for not the person I'm solving the problem for. I'm writing for all the other audiences that's going to read.
Well, you need
how the solution.
My thought to that too is like when we coach is always stay in agreement.
Yeah.
So like my thought when he said that is I don't want to say necessarily I'm sorry because if I wasn't wrong, I don't want to lie in saying that, but you don't want to be in disagreement. Because
Right.
even when you're with a client facing and something like that pops up, the first thing you do is I'm sorry. And then they're like, oh, I got you.
Yep.
Like I own
Oh.
you on it, even if it's not true and it's not beneficial for them. So instead, being in agreement, like the I understand, or yeah, I hear you. Thank you so much for telling me that. Instead of saying, I'm sorry I did this, or I'm sorry that happened, I would always stay in agreement with anything. I wouldn't say necessarily I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's great. That's such a good point.
I agree. It's first off, I hear you, right? Because you want them to hear that, and obviously you want, the system to understand that you're out there, and remember, it's about human tone. That's a human response. I hear you. AI is driven on human tone, human behavior. And
isn't it a little bit though, Jonas, that like AI, we don't even know, like it's so hard because I've been researching a lot of it, and this is a struggle for me. It's like as a leader, it's like it's changing so fast and it's moving so like it's almost like don't make assumptions that I'm going to do all this effort to go this route when we don't know exactly if AI is going to stay that way. Does that make sense? It's like I'm nervous of saying, hey, audience, you should write in the tone that the AI is going to pick up, because we don't even know if AI is going to continue doing that or not. It's like I'm not sure how you feel about that, but I just go, it's almost like dangerous to go, yeah, write it with the human tone, because that's how AI is going to perceive it, because we don't really know.
Right.
Well, but again, I think you've answered your own question. We don't really know, but that's what we know today. And I think you got to live in today's world, right? In today's world, reviews are the trust currency to work with the population, right? Reviews matter, and everything that I've seen and that's in my periphery of living in the review space, right? Whether it's just focused on insurance, I'm constantly looking at other review sites. I'm looking at what other industries are doing. Is the fact that performance ratings and the more number of reviews that you have, and in those reviews they describe what you did and what you sold, is going to help you move forward in AI being the first platform of search. And what I mean by that is, you're no longer going to Google to look for the service you need. You're going to Perplexity, you're going to ChatGPT, and you're writing in, financial advisor, Santa Barbara, and it's showing you who you should be dealing with, not by doing it in Google, right? And it isn't driven, the traffic right now is driven off, keywords. It's, pushing rankings and pages up, and you want to be on the right sites and the right pages that are pushed up. Well, I honestly believe that what's going to be the future is having a large number of positive reviews describing how you've served your community, how you're professional, what makes you different, what you've helped sell. And the bigger volume number you have, the higher that you're going to get pulled up in a search on a platform.
Well, I agree, because they're predicting, nobody really knows, but if you're like a fan of Gary Vee, he's been predicting forever now, at least 5 years, it's going to voice. It's going to voice. It's going to voice, meaning brand is all that matters. And a lot of people are saying it will be going to voice and potentially like the glasses, the AR, the Google Glass, Meta glasses, stuff like that, where it's essentially like they say we're in this shift of platform, and nobody really knows, but that we're in the shift of platform where it's not going to be you in a screen probably in the future at nearly as much. You're not going to sit down at a desktop computer or anything like that. Your Google Glass will display for you your screen in essence and stuff like that, but it will be audio driven, because most people want to just say, hey, Siri, do this. Hey, Google, do this. Josh's Siri just popped up.
I mean, have you guys seen the Ray-Ban, Meta wafer glasses?
Exactly. But the point I'm making is you're spot on, is going, hey, why are we harping on this so much volume of reviews? Because if you think about what a review is, it's just a metric of trust. And what is a brand built on? It's what people say about you, and it's what people think about you. And so in your point with AI and search and all that stuff, it needs some metric ranking way to go, Cody is better than Luke.
Right.
And reviews are a really obvious one.
Right.
Blogs is another. So knowledge, that you display is another. You got to be careful with blogs and then I think the same with reviews. When you said you're allowing clients to use AI to help them write reviews, it's going to be interesting to me to see, will AI start devaluing AI created stuff versus non-AI created stuff? Because it is obvious to the human. We just did a ranking for our leadership team where I reached out to certain people to give me a ranking on my people skills, my vision skills, all this stuff. And it was so obvious. The people that I reached out to that went to ChatGPT, of course they put in their input, but they got their output,
their output
from out. It was so obvious just by the quality of the response versus other people. And I was just like, oh, that's so interesting how my brain can immediately pick up and I devalue it intuitively.
I asked my ChatGPT what I think of Luke.
Yeah. It was not good.
I had to soften it.
Yeah. I think that in the professional world, we need to know how to use AI. We also need to know how to take what we use from AI and personalize it to some extent, right?
Yes.
Like, I lose a little bit of credibility with someone when they send me a response, and I hate to say it, I've even done it. It's happened to me, but like, I get a response from an email, and I know the thought was they wanted to give me the best, most cohesive response possible, so probably threw their stuff in the chat. But then they cut and pasted and forgot to get rid of the line at the bottom and said, was this cohesive enough
yeah,
for you?
Exactly.
Do you like a smarter thing? Or the biggest catch is, I don't think a lot of people realize, and you're looking at these responses and you see the dashes, right?
Yeah, correct. The two dashes. Yep.
And chat uses those dashes, or a lot of times that can be just deleted or replaced with a comma.
Yep.
But it's a quick sign to the human as well as the AI platform, the response, right? So take AI and use it as this amazing digital tool, this doorway into the future that's going to help expand your brand, help expand what the community is saying about you. Use it also as a refining mechanism of assets that you use on a daily basis, right? Maybe you want to refine your bio, but just for God's sake, after you use it, proof your bio. But sure
that's why I think
reviews
are so high on the list of ranking ability, where blogs are going to be really high on the list for education. Video is probably going to be even better because it's way harder to fake video, even though you can do it with AI today. But blogs, I think people need to be careful, because I bet you there are a lot of people cranking out a ton of content, because I'm seeing this with us with blogs, but it's actually going to, I believe in the future, hurt you a little bit, because it's going to be so obvious that you didn't write that blog, AI did, and it's going to devalue that. And so almost in a way, and I was thinking about this for our blogs, because I have to write one tomorrow for BAM in our partnership. And I was thinking, okay, when I use ChatGPT to help me, so what I usually do is free flow thought in my bullet points and then throw it into ChatGPT, and then I will use how they formulate it and then come back and add my own personal touch. But I'm thinking of basically telling the prompt, hey, make this so it's not, so it doesn't sound like it was ever written by AI and couldn't be detected by AI. And I want to see what it does. I haven't done that yet, but I want to see what it does to the actual blog. It's going to probably make it sound so much dumber. I'm like, no, take it back to sounding smart.
It takes it back to what you originally wrote.
Yeah.
Well,
Jonas, man, this has been great, though. This is awesome. I think it's so critical.
So, one of these, and it's relevant to agent review, but you can take it obviously to any other business, right? One of the things that we're doing that just made me think about replying to it here when you just got done with your statement is, we have education on the basic 11 forms of insurance commonly sold. And it's not a whole lot, right? Our site is mainly about letting agents list reviews, having some educational content there, being neutral, so that consumer media will reference our site as a place to find a top agent, right? We don't sell insurance. We don't let carriers put any branding on the front, because there's a conflict of interest. We'll never get any media source to say, hey, here's where to go. But they told us one thing that was missing, and we built it, was giving a way for agents to be verified, right? So one of our subscription levels is being a verified agent. I'm using our own verified agents in an AI world to better our content. So I'm reaching out now to top agents for each of those 11 specific, areas that we have content. And I'm going to have them help contribute content to that because they're considered some of the best in the industry, right? So it's like now as people join our platform, right? And there's 3 ways to join. You can have a free profile there. It's free, right? I need to have this nationwide footprint of insurance agents in order to be a nationwide resource. And we have a $50 a year subscription and $250 a year subscription, which is a rounding error. But that $250 subscription, you're a verified agent. And that alone is going to be big with an AI search, because part of becoming a verified agent, we put out a press release that says, Luke Akery is a verified agent in his home in town that he's in, and it's in the subject line, and we get, 150 to 200 media pickups, right?
Yeah, it's so smart.
Now automatically living on AI.
It's what X has done.
But it does a couple things. It immediately wow, I really joined a platform that's getting me visibility and credibility immediately. But we've also then jump-started the AI search for that person, the subscriber to our site, because we're saying they're verified, right? Exactly what AI is looking for, the best, right? And we've created this branding, right? This home housekeeping seal of approval, like the Better Business Bureau brand for our company to give to insurance agents.
You know what's going to happen as you're saying that? What is going to happen? No doubt. Google already has it. Their preferred local people. Yeah. OpenAI for their search is going to come up with some verification thing. All of the Anthropic, all of them are going to have. And so it's so genius because all these review sites, if you have this verification, it will immediately rank you higher because they have no choice but to see it that way.
Right. But the same thing is think about who's ranking you. So we have a third party. It wouldn't mean anything if it was an internal department. We have an independent third party that ranks us, and then think about frequency. I don't mean it ranks agent review. It ranks the agent. It's a third party, and it does it.
If you could, I know it might be hard for your economic model, Jonas, but if you could actually really vet the agents, like you can't get verified unless you've served so many clients. It's like the Dave Ramsey trusted professionals. Like that's harder because it limits your ability to sell it, but it is insane. It's going to be one of those weird things of like, oh man, if you could do that, maybe long term, it's actually a massively powerful play for you.
Right now we're still it's on the whiteboard, so to say, to some extent. Right now, the vetting that we do, it's third party. It's on 5 core things, but it's with the Department of Insurance, right? So it's with this other higher entity that, again, AI is going to recommend. And it's, are there any complaints against this agent, the Department of Insurance? That's a major thing, right? And it happens on a monthly basis. And we give this service as part of the subscriptions all for $250 a year. I mean,
what is the website, Jonas?
Yeah, where can people go?
It's agentreview.net. We're just getting started. So it's a place you're going to want to be. That's why, we didn't price ourselves out, because you're going to see some gaps, but you're also going to see some big steps forward. And we have people signing up every day, and they're going to want to be there.
That is awesome. Agentreview.net. Jonas, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. And thank you all so much for listening. You can get the link that Jonas mentioned there, as well as the show notes to this episode over at staypaidpodcast.com. If you enjoyed this episode and want to show your support, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review, or Spotify. And we, along with a comment, we'll read it here on the show. If you want to get hold of me, Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow our journey on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Dyke.
Guys, I'm Luke Akery. The action item is very important. Might be obvious, but you need to do it, which is you need to put into your process when serving a client. As soon as you have helped that client and had a positive experience, you need to ask them for a review. We have a whole other podcast on how the Akery brothers went and got to be the #1 rated team in Lynchburg, Virginia, hundreds of reviews on Google and these other sites. And they talk about their process of literally reaching out to the client after the transaction and sending a link to where the person can review them. So go listen to that episode as well. But it has to be part of your process for it to be effective. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.